Hey, everybody, welcome to a special installment of Taking the Time. We're going to talk about the Seiko Graph a little bit. I'm trying to sell some watches, as you can tell. But that's what we're going to talk about today, and then might have just see where the conversation takes us. I'm going to go ahead and bring on Julio. What is going on? What happened to Brian?
Brian's tied up and locked up in my basement.
All right, all right, all right. No, seriously. Brian is a little busy right now. He's going to be. It's what's killing us is that 3 hour time difference. We're hoping to get some more shows in when the time changes, and that's pretty soon. But I thought I'd bring Julio on so he can bust my chops about the Seiko Graph. First thing first, what are you wearing?
Wrist check. I got the Aragon. This is the Regeneron T100 with the tritium
Oh,
tubes, skeletonized movement.
yeah.
This was an early birthday present for my wife.
Is that a
Yeah,
skeleton too? Oh yeah, I
yeah,
thought
man.
I was seeing the movement there. Yeah, cool. This is the hardest part of doing a live show is the wrist check. I am
Yep.
wearing my tried and true Raider. It's been getting a lot more wrist time um, in anticipation of the Seiko Graph. So, are you
Nice.
talking Brian? Me bust his chops or he bust my chops? All right. So the update is we should have final shipping this week. Um, Final payments getting ready to be made. I'm just waiting on them to send over the invoice. Um, the one issue we came up with in quality control is the second hand on the white is supposed to be blue. Um, it's just one of those things that happens when you go straight to production. So no big deal. We're going to switch the second hands on the blue watches to or on the blue white dial watches. We're taking the red off. We're putting the blue on. I did ask all my pre-orders, and I'm going to have about 5 of the red secondhand for the white dials. So everybody that ordered or pre-ordered, excuse me, has the opportunity to take whichever one they choose. So
Nice. Happy
yeah,
accident.
it's on that. So yeah,
Yeah.
I can't, Brian. I'm trying to remember if you got black or if you got white. I can't remember. But we must have got black because I don't know if we talked about it or if I just said I'm just going to bring enough in. Yeah, you got black. That's why I'm like, oh, we didn't talk about that. So anyway,
Mm.
all right. Yes, and the red does look awesome on the black. Me personally, I don't love the red on the white dial because of the blue subdials.
Yeah,
But
it kind of clashes with those. Yeah.
yeah, but I had a handful of people that did want it. So like, hey, if that's what you want, cool.
Yeah.
So what do you think about the Seiko? What questions do you have? What is your impression?
I mean, I like it. I made a video on the reviewing the Raider that I got from you. Uh, and it was like it's a great spiritual successor. I know that you were having a little bit of trouble moving the Air Commander. It's kind of the design that's not maybe to everybody's taste. And I think this is a much better successor. It has a more cohesive design language too with the rest of your stuff. Um, the only thing that I brought up to you previously when we were chatting about it was how the ST19 sometimes has that kind of wacky flyback of the chronograph seconds hand, and
Yeah,
that's pretty much the only thing that I'm maybe concerned about is the QC with that movement. um it's kind of like, yeah, like I told you, you really got to be on top of that. You really got to get the factory to make sure they check them in various positions. Start the chronograph, go to like 20 seconds, stop, fly back, and see what happens. Because those ST19 sometimes they come with that little bit of trouble there.
yeah, and to fully answer that question, before I even considered the ST19, I owned a Stratton Yacht Racer with the ST19. I had nothing but good luck with that, and so I looked at that body of watches, and I hadn't seen anybody make any complaints about the Stratton's Yacht Racer. I also consider that Hamill has used the ST19 through 2 or 3 cycles of watches, I think. And it sounds like I haven't seen anybody really have any issues with it through those couple brands. But also, so the watches were completed last week, and they're in quality control right now. So I think they're finishing up quality control. I get confused because the time changes, but we're on the 3rd day of quality control. So they're going through that. They're running through to make sure they're all running right. But after I get the watches, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm probably going to, I've been thinking about the process because this is my first time doing quality control for chronograph. But my idea is to probably do batches of 15. So I'll set 15 for time accuracy, but I'm also going to run their chronographs and, stop them and reset them periodically too. So at various points to make sure that they're coming back where they're supposed to be. The dial's resetting, things like that, or the one dial. And then the second hand is resetting for that counter.
Yeah, I mean the issue that it happened to me with a Seagull that I got, a Seagull 1963, is that the second hand when you do the start stop and then the reset, it doesn't reset back to 12, right? And that it's just the second hand. It'll kind of go back to like 11 or something like that. And it doesn't have, it only happens with the chronograph second hand. It doesn't really happen with the sub dial. So as long as that second hand is going back to 12, your QC should be fine.
Yeah. And I had the hardest time setting a Valjoux correctly myself. A 7750. It was like I'd get it and like it would just be a little off, and I'd reset it, and it's like, man, this is like chronographs are a pain.
And the thing about chronographs is it's like the reason I'm not too broken up about my Seagull is I don't really use the function like at all. And I think there's maybe like 2 flavors of watch collector there. It's like the person that uses it for everything, and the person that just has it because they want to have like a competition. Like if I want to time something, I'll just use the timing bezel on a diver.
So that's kind of that was my thought process. The bezel on this on the Seikograph, it actually rotates. So that's why there's that red mark on the bezel that you see in the picture.
Yeah, I thought it was just decorative. When I saw the pictures and it was kind of off like at 3 and something, I was like, wait, what? Does that thing rotate? And then it was kind of weird to me because it doesn't have any numbers on the bezel, so it's like, so you just have like the one marker. But you cleared that up for me too, how that's kind of intended to be used.
Right. Yeah. So in my mind, like I'm the guy that does the bezel thing too. Like I'd rather rotate a bezel and for timing sessions for work or whatever it is. I'd rather use a bezel too. As opposed to a chrono, because I just never wear chronos. Do I even have any right now? Well, I have a Speedy, but I never wear it. If you didn't want to mess with pushing the button and resetting it, you can just roll it over to wherever the minute is, and then you just mark the minutes. It's real simple to do on the 5s. Mark off 15 minutes or whatever, things like that. That's pretty easy to do, but for the chronograph function, you can actually mark the seconds. So if you're doing intervals of, within a minute, you can use it to compare the one to the previous, if that makes sense. Which that's the prep function, and then there's the reason why I would use it. So,
would you get like 120 click, 60 click?
That's not something I dictated, so I'm going to say that it's probably 60 clicks. But I honestly, I didn't even put input on that. It's just whatever the factory defaulted to be completely honest.
120 is more common, but since I've never even seen that type of bezel before, I'm like, well, maybe there's something weird with it. I don't know. That's
a good question. I'll find out because it's just because it's not a diver. I didn't really care.
Right.
On the Para Rescue that I'm planning, it'll be 120. It's I'm trying to figure out what depth rating I want for that. You guys have seen the renderings for that, which the next piece.
I mean, honestly, most people don't need more than 100 meters. You get these people with these, and it's something that I've never been able to wrap my head around. People that get these like huge 1,000 meters. Like the thing is like 20 millimeters thick, and I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
I don't see the appeal of that personally.
Yeah.
Most folks are just fine with 100 meters.
I'll probably
That,
do.
that
I'll
that's my
probably do
2 cents.
60 feet, 300 meters, something like that. That's
Yep.
probably, if that like Rolex's standard is good enough for my standard. 1,000 feet, 300 meters, or 330, whatever.
Yep.
That's probably what I'll do with that. So, do you have any other questions on the Seiko, or what do you got?
Well, one of the things that I noticed in one of the pictures you sent was, and maybe this is just my eyes playing tricks. I mean, the case back had kind of a line going through it. Is there something? Is it completely see through, or is there like a sticker or something going on there?
That had to be yeah, it's a sticker, like a
It's a
red
sticker.
line.
Yeah. Oh no, not a red line, not a red line. It was I don't know, because I was looking at the back of the case back, so it's like, I don't know. I thought maybe you had something going through there, like design wise, but you know, maybe it's just me.
It's a completely clear back. I got a nice finished movement with the blued screws, the swan neck regulator, and I just
Nice.
wanted to showcase that. I feel like
It is a beautiful movement.
Yeah, exactly.
And
It's like,
you kind of get the painted blue. So like if it were thermally blued, you probably have to sell that for like what, $1,000. But it's still a beautiful movement.
yeah, and it's like with the GCT, you can see those nice nice blued screws.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so it's like,
I mean, honestly, most people can't really at a glance tell the difference between thermally blued and just painted anyway. So,
yeah.
or at least idiots like me who think they know what they're talking about.
Till you scratch them.
But yeah, no, but I mean the Seiko is this. I'm really looking forward to it. Like that's why I told you, like, man, I really wish I could go ahead and get one, but I went a little bit crazy with my watch purchases in the last I want to say month or so, and got me a little bit of hot water with the wife. So I have a mandatory cool down period, and it's like, man, I hope they don't sell out.
You got crazy on the wrong websites then.
No, man. But yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, I got that Tissot Sea Star that I've been kind of keeping my eye on for a while. And that was a little bit of an impulse purchase. It was kind of like, if my wife hadn't been in the store with me, I probably wouldn't have bought it. Because she's kind of of two minds of the whole thing. Like she don't want me wasting any salesperson's time or anything. So I was in the store, I was in the AD, and we were looking at watches, and I had no intention of actually buying anything. We were just kind of talking, and I was looking at it, and they did not have the exact reference that I wanted. They had like the green one or the blue one with the blue bezel. I wanted the Fume black to blue with the black bezel. So they didn't have that one right there on display. I was like, they don't have the one I want anyway. And the guy was like, let me check it back. Let me check in the safe and see if we have it. He brought it out, and I'm like, well, damn, I don't know. I really wasn't looking to buy anything. Let me go think about it. So we walked out of the store, and my wife was like, you don't do that. You don't make them waste their time. And then so that's how I ended up with that one. And then it's like, we got a PRX for her because she really liked it. And before that, I had gotten, I can't even remember. I know that it's been a few. In the span of like a week, I got like 4 different watches that came in. I got the call that came in, the multiverse. Yep. I got that one. I got CCCP that I bought from someone in the elite chat. I got the Tissot. So I got a few watches that I bought in the span of like I got a couple of Z-losses, which I did a review of recently. I did a review of a Z-loss swordfish. So yeah, so I got in a little bit of hot water by buying too many watches, and yeah, so I'm just hoping I for your sake, I hope they sell quickly.
Right.
For my sake, I hope that you have one sitting in stock there that you're just kind of begging to move, like it happened with the Raider.
I had that one Raider. I'm like, I gotta sell this watch. I gotta sell it now.
No, and I remember I was like poking around, and I had like a few different ideas of watches that I wanted to buy, because I had I had some money coming in. My wife was like, "I get yourself a watch, treat yourself." And I thought, well, let's do a $300 budget. And and I remember I got a few suggestions from people in the chat, and you were like, wait, what's this? What do you want the $300 for? What's
Like, hold on.
but yeah, that was like a perfect storm of a great opportunity to get a great watch for a great price. So thank you for that, by the way.
And I got some press, so we're good.
Yep, yep. But yeah, and I mean, the Raider is a solidly constructed watch. It's just so impressive, what you get. And I really think that the Seiko is gonna, if it's constructed half as well as the Raider is, you have another hit on your hands there.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, it looks great.
The manufacturer, I'm not gonna name drop, but the manufacturer that makes my watches makes some other very well known brands. Like, I don't want to say real brands, but full blown brands that everybody in the world knows. But they also make some very well known micro brands.
Nice.
So, one specifically that I have a lot of respect for. So that's why I'm with that manufacturer, and they treat me well. They take care of things that I need to take care of. Like the secondhand issue, I'm like, and I mean, it was just an oversight from, we had a rendering from several months ago to now we're completely assembling these watches. Like, somebody just made a mistake and didn't do the blue secondhand, the chronograph secondhand, that is. And
yeah, but again, it's kind of a happy accident, because I really didn't even notice that there was anything wrong with it when you sent in the pictures. Now when you mentioned it, now I was like, oh yeah, the pictures, the renders had it in blue. And honestly, it doesn't totally clash, because you do have that red line on the bezel, so it works. It plays with that. And I can see how there's people that want to keep the red hand.
It's 50-50 on the pre-orders. Yeah, half
Nice.
wants to keep it, half, and I don't like. So what I did, because I don't have any prototypes, so I don't know if I like the black better than the white. So I actually put 24 of each in stock. So there's a black and a white, just waiting for me to decide which one I want. So, because I don't even know. Like,
yeah.
It's going to depend on what shade of blue that is how close. And I'm that picky, that it has to be that, like, I told them what shade of blue I wanted specifically. And if it matches that exactly, I'll keep the white. And if it's just close, then I'll probably go with the black. So you guys will know how accurate that color I requested was real soon.
Yep. No, man, and I mean, honestly, like I said, it's a beautiful watch. I love the idea, the inspiration you took from the Hammy, from the Seikometer. It's honestly, it looks so, I mean, not to kind of ape what you say on the website, but it looks really clean. It's something, it's a chronograph that I've never seen the design like that before. But again, I'm just an idiot neophyte. I've only been collecting for a few years, so maybe there's other people that have seen a chronograph executed that way. I've never seen one, at least. And just knowing what I know about the quality you put out, I'm really excited. I want to be able to get my hands on one of those.
The only other watch that I've seen with a disc I'm sure there's others, but the only execution I've ever seen that's even similar to that is what Mr. Richard Page does with his carousels. And I have two carousels that he's made. So I got to give a little bit of design credit to him as well. It was actually, so this idea was actually Robert Newton's idea.
Okay.
He's the one that said, "Hey, you should do this," and I'm like, "Oh, we should do this as a chronograph." Yes. so that's actually, I got to credit Robert for giving me the idea to do the watch with those concealed discs. But it probably would have never came about. I mean, I have, and just for the record, if Hamilton's watching, You weren't the only ones to make that pocket watch like that. Illinois did it, and they did it before you guys did it. And then I know Illinois, Hamilton, and I think there's another brand, Waltham, because I have a Waltham version of it too.
I mean, honestly, if Hamilton gives you crap about it, I'd just be flattered that they're even watching in the first place.
Well, they sued Vortic, and it took years and thousands upon thousands of dollars to overturn the lawsuit.
That's bonkers, man. That's crazy.
Watch group can, yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, going back to the Seiko, it's beautifully executed. When I saw the renders, I thought, yeah, that looks really cool. But renders only really give you kind of like an idea, right? When you sent the pictures of like the finished watches, I was sold. I was absolutely sold at that point, because the renders really don't do justice to like the little arrow thingy that's on the cutout in the disc.
Dial. Yeah.
I remember I asked you, how do I know where 0 is, and when I saw that in the watch, it was like, it's just small details like that, it looks amazing. It looks really good. I can't wait to see the same thing from the Pararescue. I know that's a ways off. You're still kind of in the conceptualizing stage of that one, but the idea that you have for that with both the external and internal bezels, it's also something that I think is going to be really cool. My only gripe, as usual, is the lack of a date window.
Yeah. Are you channeling your inner Brian? Because he's always busting my balls about dates too.
Man, it's just, the thing is, look, this watch doesn't have a date, right? And like 4 or 5 times I've caught myself glancing at it, trying to check the date today. It's just, I don't hate non-date watches, right? I don't hate no-date watches. It's just, I have such a habit of checking my wrist for the date. Whenever it's like, damn it, and I gotta like go and get my cell phone or whatever. And what to me, part of the charm of wearing a watch is not checking your cell phone for the date or the time or whatever. So it's just kind of that's my whole thing about a date. So, and obviously, the ST19s, there are variants of it, I think, that have a date wheel, but the most basic one is kind of the classic one that everyone likes, the ST1901.
The reason why I'm deleted it, and because I initially had the date at 6 o'clock. I had it at 3 o'clock for a minute, and then I brought it down to 6. But so we're still sticking to the 42 millimeter platform that the Raider and the Seikograph are, but the disc, because the bezel, the dial is shrinking down, and so those numbers, and I don't want to cut off a number, like I don't want to put just like a little triangle or a little square or rectangle or whatever.
Yeah, I get you. If you didn't have the internal bezel, you'd be able to fit a date there, no problem, right? Yeah. But because I get it. I kind of figured that was what was going on there. But
I mean, you got the rotating outer bezel and then the inner bezel too, so it's kind of like a double whammy. So that dial gets small quick.
Yep.
People hate 44 millimeter watches for some reason now. So
I mean, it depends on the execution. We both reviewed. Well, I mean, you didn't really get your hands on it. It was Brian who had it. Help me out here. The 960, the 960 watch. And that's and that's a 44 that really doesn't wear like 44. He did something with the actual case shape that makes it feel a lot more comfortable and a lot closer to like a 42, 41, around that neighborhood. It hugs the wrist really nicely. I had my fair share of gripes with that watch. I know Brian did too, but one of the things about it was precisely how well it fit and how comfortable it actually ended up being in spite of its size. So really, it's not so much that people don't like 44s. It's just that a lot of companies, I feel, don't execute 44s the way that 960 did. You need to kind of work your design magic to make a 44 wear comfortably. Guys like Brian with like his 9-inch bare wrists, a 44 is nothing to him, right? He'll wear a 44 all day long. But people like me, closer to average 7.5 inch wrist, 44, if it's not done right, you get a lot of overhang. It doesn't really fit the right way. But
I wear a
but yeah.
44 every day too.
Oh well, there you go. You know.
So.
Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of the thing that people get with these and also, you know, oversized watches were a trend for a while. And just like with fashion, you know, watches go through trend cycles. You know, now you're seeing people start to favor 40s a lot more than you know, a few years ago, where everybody was wearing 44s, 45. Aragon had a huge boom where they had like these 50, 55 millimeter huge ass dinner plates that people wear on their arms, you know, and you know, people are it's cyclical, man. It's just like everything, you know. People go through phases. It's like, oh, I want my watch to be this size, this size, this size. At the end of the day, you know, wear what you like and be happy, and just live and let live. Don't criticize people either for wearing something that you don't like. That's kind of the way I feel about it.
I think that's a perfect quote to end the show on, is live and let live. Let people wear what they want to wear, and you wear what you want to wear. So
right.
That's probably a good spot. You know, it probably feels like we're ending this abruptly, but I have another appointment like right now. So,
All right.
So we only slated this for you know, a short 25-minute show or so. So here we are. Again, Julio, thank you for coming on, guys. If you haven't checked out Split Seconds, get on YouTube and check out Julio's reviews. There's got some humor in them, and he brings something different to the reviews that I like. I don't watch reviews, but I'll watch yours because you got the puns and stuff like that. And I kind of chuckle a little bit. Like, yep. Sometimes they're cheesy. Sometimes they're just funny, or funnier than funny. So,
I mean, my philosophy is, if you don't know what you're talking about, make a joke.
Right. Well, you know what you're talking about, and then you make a joke too. So we're all good. All right, guys, get over there, check out Split Seconds, and we'll see you next time. Me and Brian will be on tomorrow, close to the same time. Have a good one.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.